All right, and we're back for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about House of the Dragon, episode 5. We light the way. All right, so just to kind of let everyone know what we're going to do, there are four themes that we're going to talk about. The first one is Daemon. We're going to talk about Daemon. We're going to get Daemon out of the way. Daemon is just the lust factory, right? We're going to talk about Daemon. The second thing we're going to talk about is Rhaenyra. She's the baddie of the show. Third, we're going to talk about Queen Alicent. I mean, what an entrance. I see you wearing your green. Yeah, the devil wears green. And then finally, we're going to talk about House Valyrian. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Daemon, what you got for us, Elliot?
Oh, Damon. Damon. It's kind of like the Candyman. You say his name, he appears, right? So, in this episode, we see Damon immediately get into some foolishness. We've heard of his wife in the past episodes, but we've never laid eyes on her. So, this is the first episode that we actually get to put eyes on Damon's wife. And I use air quotes because of all of the backhanded comments that are made about his wife and the referrals to her as, sheep and the sheep being more attractive. I was excited to actually get to put eyes on this woman. So, Damon, he goes back to where his wife is, and I'm not entirely sure, or if anybody else is sure if it was intentional or not. But his wife is on horseback. He kind of runs into her, and she is the most sarcastic person in this episode that we see. So, her and Damon kind of have this banter going on, and she's like kind of coming for him, like, yeah, so basically, is your niece gonna kind of like rise to the throne above you and all these kind of things? And he's kind of quiet in this cloak. His head's cover is like really dark and ominous, and it's like, what is about to happen? So, ultimately, what ends up happening is she's thrown off horseback onto her onto her back, and he's standing there over her, but she's on her back, hurt, and she is still talking the most trash to Damon. So he's getting ready to walk away, and I'm gonna stop right there because I want you to dive this part for me about what kind of happens from there with Damon.
So there are a couple things that I didn't want to miss and I don't want to forget. First, his wife, like they've never consummated. They've never had sex, right?
Yes,
And then when I
yes,
see her, just me, I don't know about you, like she's not the most attractive woman, but she's definitely not ugly at all. I can tell that she's kind of a loner, and mean. she is mean. I understand what he says when
it's
he's
nasty.
and to me, it kind of set the tone. Like when it comes to Damon, I think he likes a certain type of woman, like a woman that can give it to him, but not so much that he can't speak. And I think when it comes to his wife, he just doesn't know what to say. And and to me, like that entire scene for me, like I don't know if he even said a single word. Not a single word. Like I don't if he said a word, I can't remember. It was just a whole bunch of looks that he gave. And that to me added to the entire moment. So much so that she scared herself.
Yes.
Like I'm not even certain that Damon had any thoughts in his mind about hurting her. To me, in that moment, I thought he was just like, okay, you're my future. What can I do with you and my future? And she had all of these thoughts going through her head, and I guess she acted on those thoughts, which ended up with the horse on top of her. And as you said, the most sarcastic statement made Damon say, oh yeah, let me pick up this rock.
Yes, and it's like, oh my god, because what we see is once she's thrown off the horse and she's in this compromised position, we don't know the extent of her injuries. They don't really get into that, but he is in the process of walking away.
Mhm.
And to me, that was really major. And I think you and I kind of talked about this off camera before. He's turning, and he's going to actually walk away,
Mhm.
but she doubles down on the insults. And he comes
I knew you
back.
couldn't finish it.
Right. Right. You couldn't even finish
But wait,
consummating our
but
marriage.
wait. Like okay, so if I were him, like all kinds of thoughts would be going through my head. Like, oh, what I can't finish, meaning sex. I can't finish. Oh, I'm gonna show you I can finish.
And boy, does he ever. You
Mhm.
know, so I thought that was really interesting. The fact that he kind of ignores the previous insults and he's going to walk away, but she just doubles down and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you what you're looking for." So grabs that rock and then scene,
Mhm.
scene.
So, that was basically the beginning of the episode. But later on, I think the next time we see him is when he walks into the hall. I don't know what the name of the hall is, but inside the Red Keep. So he walks in, and he sits down, and then sooner or later, like this guy, his wife's cousin, comes up and is basically like, where I'm from in the Vale, we like we handle situations like that, whatever. Like he was basically calling Damon out. Damon was so smooth with it. He
Yes.
was like, he was like, "What you talking about?"
Like, I'm at a wedding feast and you're approaching me. Well, okay, well, let's get right into it then, since you disrupted my meal.
Oh,
You
you
know.
insinuating that I did something? Well, hold up, wait a minute. There's something I want to talk to you about. She died, right? So, we had no heirs, so I'm entitled to all that she has. So, when can we talk about that? Throws the man off
Yes.
completely.
It was definitely something to see because it was the audacity, the complete brazen nature of Damon. Like, this man is clearly distraught over his deceased family member, and Damon is like, "Yeah, so
Moving
this is a
on.
come
What's
up for
next?
me. Yeah, I'll be up there soon. So I'm gonna see you when I get there. All right, cousin. You know,
Meanwhile, Viserys is like dumbfounded, like, "Oh my god, what is happening?" And what can he do? What can the king do? Can the king do anything, or is this really because he's such a feckless leader that he can't do
Mhm.
anything? Your
Right? And
thoughts?
my thoughts on King Viserys is that he is just not equipped for the throne. Damon has been out of control. This is not a new issue, so I just don't think he possesses the wherewithal to even handle Damon. He can't do it. He
Hmm.
just can't. So
Hmm.
just sit there, and this is another one of those situations to where Damon is just gonna do what Damon does, and he's gonna get away with it.
Hmm. And if you think about it, the king kind of set that series of, I don't know, actions in motion when he banished his brother. He basically killed the girl.
Yeah, he's like, well, there's that. Let me go to my wife.
It's yeah. It's like, I don't know if I could have lived during that time period. It's just kind of like so wild west. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, with great accents and great accents and amazing language. But
Hmm.
yeah, I agree with you. It's extremely
Hmm.
wild.
So later, at that same banquet, Damon sees Princess Rhaenyra and walks up to her, and they are engaged in a conversation in High Valyrian. Oh yeah, that's a language you love.
It's just something about the high Valyrian because it's at this point, of course, a lot has transpired between him and Rhaenyra, but
Hmm.
it's almost like flirty. Like, we're getting away with something. No one else can really speak this language. To me, like that's what I get from them speaking in this high Valyrian together.
But
Um,
wait, see, I thought you were gonna go somewhere just a second ago. But look, in that moment though, hundreds of people in that hall, and he grabs the princess in
yes,
an
yes,
intimate way.
yes. It's very juicy.
And you mean to tell me the only person that saw was the king? You, you can't.
There's well, you gotta picture too. Like, okay, this is a wedding feast, so there's no YouTube, there's no TikTok during these times. These people are slap drunk. I am knowing they are slap drunk. I don't think anybody's that invested, at least in my opinion, of what's going on between the two of them. And I think with Viserys in particular, he's kind of looking for it. He's looking for it because Daemon is a wild card, and from what we've seen, so is Rhaenyra.
Mhm.
So I got to keep an eye on these two, even
and
though they're both kind of yanking on my heartstrings. Both of them can get away with a lot with me.
and at least with respect to Damon has expressed desire for Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra not so much, but she definitely hasn't rebuffed it. You know what I'm saying? And so yes, the king is looking for it. You're quite right.
Yes, she wants him though. She definitely wants
Of
him.
course. Of
Yes.
course. Of course. Um and so there's something else that happens, but I think that kind of, well, I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it. We can talk about it here. No, no, no. Hold up. I don't know. I think it kind of falls into House Valyrian, talking about what happens next with Daemon. But I think that kind of ends it with Daemon, right? His
Yeah.
storyline.
Yes. 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 Yes.
All right. So next, we've been talking about her, Rhaenyra. So also at the beginning of the episode, Rhaenyra is on her way to the Vale. I don't know what part of the Vale, but it's where House Valyrian is located. And of course, the king is on the ship.
It's
Can
just
he be comedy? Can he just be comedy? Like,
like it just exposes even more of the weakness that this man has. First of all, your body's falling apart. I've seen zombies better attached than King Viserys at this point. You know, it's just I'm serious. It's like, I mean, it is pure comedy at this point. Like, it's almost disgusting, but yes, it definitely show up with a very specific plan in mind. Like,
Mhm,
okay, we're gonna have Prince Laenor or Sir Laenor and Princess Rhaenyra wed.
mhm.
So he kind of approaches our favorite Lord Corlys and his wife
Yes,
with
yes, yes, yes,
this
yes.
with this marriage proposal. Um,
Yes.
so Lord Corlys has this
Well,
some
I don't want to.
questions.
I want to keep that under House Valerian.
Yes, yes. Sorry, I'm
No, no,
running
no, no.
down the
So,
wrong area.
but we can. I mean, sort of the same scene. We can talk about Rhaenyra and how she the conversation that she had with Laenor.
Yes. So um, Rhaenyra's kind of walking along the beach with her cousin, soon to be husband, and they have some concerns, but at the same time, she's like, "Hey, you know what? If I had to marry, I'm glad that it's you." So I feel like we can have an understanding. You know, sometimes I like goose, sometimes I like duck. You know, so they have this very candid conversation. Um,
Candid, huh,
it well, to me it's candid, and
coded.
maybe better stated, coded. Um, but like, hey, I like what I like. You like what you like. We are going to please our parents, keep them happy, and once we take our vows, feel free to partake in those things that you like, because I am most certainly going to partake in the things that I okay. Okay. So that's kind of what we see in that scene with Rhaenyra walking along with Prince Laenor. More from you. What you got? I'm hearing this giggling because
No, I mean, that was more than great. That was it. That was it. And for me, that kind of sets up the next couple of episodes as it relates to her,
I'm like,
or at least her storyline. But I thought that number one, that was a big move on her part. Considering the times, that was a huge move on her part, and also his dangerous. Um, just the fact that he allowed the conversation to go on meant that he was certainly open to it. Um, yeah, but I definitely want to talk about that a little later.
I don't know. I mean, it, of course, we have already established how bold Rhaenyra is, and it has me in the mindset of the times, like you always mention, like, okay, and I'm thinking in these times, there's no contraceptives, there's none of that going on, and she has literally outlined how their lives are gonna be, but we'll see more in the future of kind of what happens to living very cavalier. Um, in this kind of open marriage that they have. Some very specific things happen with Rhaenyra.
I do want to say though, mostly because I've seen the most previous episode, I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see some interaction between some level of closeness between the two of them, even though you have like a partnership. Sometimes partnerships
Mm-hmm.
can be a bit intimate, like no, we're not having sex, but it's still intimate because we have to come together on the two things that we want to do that we know no one will appreciate. Yet at the same time, we've got to be on in every other respect, we've got to be on the same page. And I just wanted to see that continued level of respect.
Well, with Rhaenyra, since we're parked on Rhaenyra, I'm starting to feel as though Rhaenyra lacks loyalty to anyone. Um, Not to her husband that she's gonna have, not to her father, not to anyone. I'm just not, her friendship with the now queen. I just I'm starting to kind of feel that Rhaenyra is kind of disloyal.
Really, I wouldn't have said that though.
She she I say that she blatantly blatantly, and I do mean blatantly, lies to Alicent, Queen Alicent. Um, what we see going forward, without having a spoiler alert, she's not loyal to the Union, even though they had this kind of conversation before about kind of how things were going to run. Just what you were saying, like, hey, there's no intimacy with them, and we see that she flexes her power over him. Um, to
True.
come. So I'm seeing some lack of loyalty with Rhaenyra. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
So for me, I'm not going to say that it's a lack of loyalty. I think what I would say is she's kind of stuck between a lot of different moving pieces, and she doesn't really know what to do in those different
I'm not gonna say that it's a lack
spheres.
of loyalty.
And so
I'm not gonna say that it's a lack of loyalty.
as
Say
a
it again.
result,
Say it again. Say it again and again. It's gonna resonate with me. Yes. Let's call it out. Yes, absolutely. Go with it.
and so I'm sorry, that was TikTok. Um, so I think she's stuck between a lot of different moving pieces. If she does this, she hurts this person. If she does this, she hurts herself. If she does this, she hurts this person. And so I think in that situation, there are times when she's able to compromise herself, but at the end of the day, she is who she is. And so she needs to carve out a space for her. And sometimes by carving out that space for herself, she's hurting other people. Um, which I do understand that a lot of people say no, well, that's not loyalty. Yeah, but what's more important, loyalty to self or loyalty to others? And loyalty to self to me is paramount. Not now, if you were to come to me and you were to say, hey, look, this is the situation, this is the deal, please don't tell anybody, well, it's gonna die with me. Like, not a soul would ever hear about it, not even we're on pillows. I'm still not telling. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will mention something that has something to do with something that you said to me in the past. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Like, that's the type of but to the extent that she can have loyalty with her husband, um we kind of jumping ahead
Yeah.
to prove my point, and I don't want to jump ahead to prove
Let's
my point.
let's park then. let's park. Let's park. Well, not park. Let's put it in dry and move forward because
Okay.
it, even with all of that, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Rhaenyra's character, though. I'm a fan.
Okay.
I still am a huge fan.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to Queen Alicent.
Woo!
Now, Queen Alicent, she's still, well, yeah, Queen Alicent is moving beyond her doughy-eyed, um, idealized view of what life would be like living in the keep. And she's coming to terms with some different realities. She is learn well she I'm trying to remember the first scene with her. I'm thinking it was when she called Sir Kristen.
Well, no, and I might be wrong, but in the beginning, this is she's losing her father in the beginning of this
Right. Okay.
episode. So that was like a really huge segue into how Allison kind of, excuse my very vulgar language, drops her nuts in this episode. Like, I think her father leaving, kind of not having that guidance, kind of really played a huge part in how Allison shows up for herself um, in the future, within this episode and going forward.
His parting words, though, is what was paramount, I think, to her.
Definitely.
It was either prepare your son to be king, or cleave to Rhaenyra and hope she doesn't kill you.
No, really, like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be my friend. I have literally followed this girl's word and I'm taking it. And her father's like, okay, listen.
Uh, But look, this is what I would say. Honestly, this is what I would say. I think if she had clung to Rhaenyra, I don't think I don't think anything would ever happen to her. That's a personal thing. Like, that's truly what I feel. I don't think anything, unless something else came along, I don't see that the two of them would have parted ways. I think it was the decisions that she made, meaning Alicent, the decision that she made that drove a rift between the two of them, in my personal opinion.
And to be fair, before and I'm very, 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 very seldom a person to go back on what I said. But to be fair, Allison isn't 100% innocent because you were in my father's chambers after my mother died. You kind of started this, and you ended up marrying my father, which I was not a huge fan of. We were friends, and you kind of came in. Mother's not even, cold yet, and you're doing these snakish kind of things, listening to your father. So Allison, to me, is not, well, was not in the beginning very, very innocent either. Even though she was kind of being puppeted by her father, I can understand why Rhaenyra might be like, you know what, I don't have a problem lying to you, not to make it up, because you most certainly were underhanded. So we were friends, and you
You
up
took
under my
advantage.
father. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, so she has that conversation with her dad, and then later, Clubfoot comes along. Oh, no! I think Clubfoot was Clubfoot first. He was first before Sir Kristen.
Yes, he came before because at this point nobody knows that Sir
Hmm.
Kristen is the one that has been involved.
And I think the big reveal that he gave her was the tea, the 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 tea that was left, and which
Yes.
signaled to her that, oh, she had sex with somebody.
Right. Right.
um
At this point they're still thinking it's likely Daemon.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And so Clubfoot, he engineers his way into Rhaenyra's, not Rhaenyra's, into Alicent's thinking, and kind of sets some things in motion himself. So that gets Lady Queen Alicent. I want to say Lady Alicent, but I think I like Queen Alicent better, because I think that sets up the relationship a whole lot better between she and Rhaenyra. Um, Queen Alicent then calls Sir Kristen Cole to her, I guess, to her chambers, and not in a very direct way, but in a roundabout way, she starts asking Sir Kristen Cole um, about Rhaenyra, and not knowing, not knowing that anything about Daemon, he assumes she's talking about him, and so he admits to having
And
sex with Rhaenyra.
I absolutely want to choke Sir Kristen in this entire scene because first of all, you're speaking out of turn. You haven't even listened to everything. I'm basically asking you because I know you are with this heifer 24/7. You're guarding her doors. You know who coming through these chambers all hours of the night. Just let me know what's going on. But she can't even get that across without him being like, "It's me, it's me. I know that I deserve to be beheaded. Go ahead and do it." Oh my goodness.
Tortured soul, my God. Like,
Right. Right. Yes. I have completely broken my chastity and I mean, oh my gosh.
meanwhile, me, nope,
Oh
it wasn't me. Nope, it wasn't me. Nope, it wasn't me.
I mean, goodness. I mean, you must the best out of that dragon because I mean, you are willing to just completely have yourself found of treason and beheaded and everything else behind. You just, oh my goodness, like please, I'm wanting to choke him. I'm wanting to dive through the screen at this point. So yes, you're right. Allison has this conversation and he basically spills it all.
Everything. And leaves her basically speechless until she says, "You can leave," which for him was like, "What? Like, what does that mean? Like, I can leave? Like, I can live, or like?" And she, she just basically he leaves, right? And so next, as it relates to Queen Alicent, um, she walks in. Oh,
This wedding feast just gets better and better, you know, by the moment as your wild says, oh, yes. First of all, Queen Alicent, the queen. Let me remind you, Queen Alicent, the queen. She does not arrive to the wedding feast on time. Okay,
you gonna wait
they
on me?
they are well into the meal. Music has been played. Dances have been had. Maybe not. Either way, people are asking, "Where's the queen?" Oh, I think she's really trying to get everything prepared for the wedding or whatever. Like the series comes up with. But anyway, she waits until her husband, not the flunky, but her husband, the king, is in the middle of a speech for the wedding feast, and she walks in. Dare I say, glides in. Okay,
She
this
steals the
bomb,
show.
bomb green dress, bomb green dress, and I mean, definitely, yes, she does. She steals the show. It's like everything is still. All eyes are on her, and you
And,
mentioned
and,
this
and,
before.
but check this out. So the king is making a speech. Everyone is seated, paying attention to him. She walks in. Of course, he stops, like he stumbles, which makes everyone look in that direction. And then because the queen is coming in, now all of a sudden they all have to stand. Like, bitch,
Yes.
I'm the shit. Recognize this. And nothing stops until she's seated. Oh.
Yes, it was so juicy, wasn't it? Like this is the first time we actually see her step into her royalty, and then to come in this green, and which I didn't know this before. Watching like the inside of the episode or in the conversation that we had, like the green is like a clear sign that okay, I'm ready for war.
Pop, pop,
What's
pop,
up?
pop.
Who
We
wanted
ready?
with me? Right? Who wanted with me? What's good? I'm the queen. Yes, know this now. Lady Alicent is dead. This is the queen. Okay. so, so yes, that was just a very pivotal moment in this
Mhm.
entire episode for Queen Alicent to really show up as Queen Alicent instead of Lady Alicent.
But check this out. Once she gets to the dais, she addresses Rhaenyra, and the look that she gives Rhaenyra, it's not the words, it's that look.
It
Ooh.
was a very spicy look, wasn't
Ooh.
it?
And everyone saw it. Even the king saw it. But he's so stupid he don't know what's going on.
He couldn't do anything about it, even if he
Even
didn't
if he
catch
did.
fire. Please stop before one of your fingers fall off before the end of the dinner. Just one more of your fingers. Like, just don't even worry about it. Like,
Tales from the crypt for real, huh?
and is. Oh Lord, please don't get me started on the series. I am no respecter of the series at all.
Oh god. Oh, that was that was wonderful. That was wonderful. And then I think okay, so she was at the wedding, but she really had no big role in the wedding. However, what later happened with her was Sir Kristen was about to commit suicide,
Yes.
and I think correct me if I'm wrong. You might have a better memory than me. I think all she did was called his name out, and it stops him from killing himself,
Yes. You're
which
right.
in and of itself set more things in motion. Oh my god.
I look for me. What set things in motion before him about to fall on his knife or his sword was when she let him live and just let him go. I'm like, okay, I think we're about to see the beginning. At least for me, it was a foreshadowing, the beginning of an
Their
alliance.
relationship. Yeah,
But
exactly.
and then that further drives it whenever she interrupts his self sabotage or further
Hmm.
self sabotage, his
Hmm.
own demise. I'm no respecter of Sir Kristen either.
I thought he was gonna be the hottie. I thought he was gonna be the hunk. I thought he was gonna be my love interest for the next 5 years. I thought, but he just the devil. He's just the
he
devil.
he he was definitely on my behead list. Off with his head. Okay, I told you I was annoyed with him whenever him and Rhaenyra had that love scene. You know, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm sorry, not sorry. But for me, Sir Kristen, oh, I mean, he could make a cactus dry. Okay, I'm just saying. It took way too long to take off all of those garments. I lost interest in this. I'm sorry, we're getting off task. Come on, please reel this in because I get a little off. But yeah,
But I'm
so the
all here
beginning of
for it.
an alliance.
But I mean, it's. I'm sorry.
He,
It's a
he
good thing
can.
because it keeps the storyline moving, right? It keeps the storyline moving, and I love that. I love that about Game of Thrones slash House of the Dragon. It keeps when you think everything is about to go this direction, all of a sudden, it goes in a different direction, and I really do enjoy that. So finally, we're on House Valyrian. So, hmm, so much to discuss here.
Let's, can we start with Lord Corliss? Can we start there with
Go
this
go
this
for it.
marriage proposal?
Go for it.
Um, so well, we know in the beginning they wanted King Viserys to wed their daughter Laena. So now that he has decided, or Viserys has decided to marry Alicent, all that's transpired. Now he comes back to the house wanting to wed their son Laenor to Rhaenyra. So I could understand where they would be like, "Oh, now we're good enough, and you want to wed our son to your daughter? That's cool." So Lord Corliss has some concerns, like, "Okay, you want this marriage to take place? Well, what is this gonna look like? Okay, so whose name are the kids gonna take? What's gonna happen with the heirs? Maybe you can speak a little bit better to it than I can, but." In that whole scene, I was glad that Lord Corliss was not just like, okay, sure, let's let them wed. He had some very specific. So maybe you can go in a little more on that.
Well, the first thing that I was struck with was the fact that and the King's Hand, I don't know his name right now, but the King's Hand is like, when they first arrive, he's like, hold up, wait a minute. Where's Lord Carlos? Why is he not here to greet us? So that's a boss move right there. Boss
Strong.
move.
Strong.
And the king is like, whatever. I already know that, I'm not. This is not. I'm trying to save face. So we're not going to worry about that right now. So
Very
they walk in.
Yeah. But I was here for it.
Okay. And then when the king walks in, Corlys is still sitting in his seat. He ain't getting up. He waited until the king got close.
You in my house. Home court advantage. Okay.
And so you're not the king until you 10 feet.
For me, that was another display of Viserys being just weak. Like, you the king and they don't even respect you.
Should he though? Should he though? In that moment, I feel he had every right. And the king really was like a dog with his tail caught between his legs. It didn't really matter whether or not Viserys is weak. In that moment, he really was weak. Begging. He's begging Lord Carlos's son to marry his wife, because by this point everyone already knows what the rumor is. Had to. So evidenced by the fact that Lord Carlos says, so sorry to hear about Otto. If you know why Otto left, then if you know that Otto left, you know why Otto left. Right? So, boom, I'm going to hit you with that. I'm going to let you know I know what's up. Right? So then, of course, the king starts talking. The king starts talking like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want my daughter to marry your son. Okay. So then he says, okay, well, I have some concerns about succession. So, of course, in my mind, I'm like, what concerns would you possibly have about succession? Like, it's just, she'll have a child and, it is what it is. Which is basically what Viserys says. And then he said, well, no. What's the child's name gonna be? And I thought that Viserys was being a diplomat in that moment. It was a grand note of diplomacy. He was just like, okay, the child will be born, given your name. And then when they ascend to the throne, it'll be a Targaryen. It is what it is. It is what it is. And definitely Lord Carlos liked the idea, because it doesn't really matter. Everyone is going to know the legitimacy of the situation. It is what it is. I think he was stuck on, and I think his wife spoke on it a little later. He was stuck on the fact that in his mind, it really should have been his wife. And that to me suggests that even for that time, he was much more open to the idea of women ruling than most other people would have been. And I wonder if that's why the producers decided that family would be a black family. Your thoughts on that?
I like what you did there, because I know you have a very specific recurring theme that you want to weave in to these conversations. No, he absolutely is very forward thinking for those times. So I love that display of strength from this black family. I do. Even with Viserys, I'm surprised he's adamant about still letting Rhaenyra be on the Iron Throne, being a woman. But it kind of surprised me a little bit from Lord Corlys. Like, okay, you're really for this. You about this. And I don't want to spoiler alert. But anyway, how he runs his family, and he doesn't just have a son. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but can we talk about how delusional he is? I talking about how
Oh
delusional
my.
Lord Carlos is?
Yes. So he's like, okay, so clearly Prince Lenore has an appetite, that is not extremely acceptable to the world. He said,
Polite society.
right, right. Let's not dress it up. Let's just call it out. He is extremely gay. Okay, and his mom is very realistic about it. But his father is like, oh, just basically give him a chance. He'll change his mind.
He'll
He
grow
doesn't
out of
really.
it.
Right, he'll grow. Yeah, he'll grow out of it. He's still young. He's gonna grow. Every time he sees an attractive male, let me zoom in. Every time he sees an attractive male, he's gonna grow out of his pants. Okay, I'm gonna leave that right there. But so yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. He is extremely delusional. It's like, but I love the fact though, even with all of that, they love their child, regardless. That's very apparent. That doesn't stop him from wanting him on the throne. That doesn't make him feel like his son is weak. If anything, Prince Laenor is very strong.
Very.
He is he's shown himself and proved himself in battle.
Except when it comes to Joffrey. Oh, that little
Oh,
boy cried.
oh, we gotta get there. Oh well, we talking about House of Valyrian right now. Oh man. Oh, do we want to
So
go there?
okay, yeah, I feel like I like I jumped over some stuff. So we already talked about it when we talked about Rhaenyra. So Laenor and Rhaenyra, they talked about their agreement to do their own thing, and basically that was the first time. I don't know about you, I kind of thought about it, but I was like, nah, it's just me always thinking everybody's gay. But when that was basically the first time that we knew that Laenor was gay, right?
Yes.
And so we saw a scene with Laenor and his and Joffrey. That's where the name comes from, Joffrey. um and they were talking, and he meaning Laenor tells Joffrey about the decision, the compromise or whatever that the two of them had made. And so Joffrey gets him to say, okay, well, I can be your, what's it called? Whatever it is Sir
Not
Kristen is.
um,
Whatever it is, you're devoted to a person, right?
King's Guard or something like that.
Yeah, you're basically the bodyguard. Basically the bodyguard. Um, and so of course they agree, and they wrestle. I wish they really wrestled though. I really wanted them to really wrestle.
Y'all in y'all are in the grass and like being real playful and like,
But check this
okay.
out though. Your boy, whatever Joffrey, that should have been the moment when at least I knew. It should have been, but I didn't. He's not very tactful, which leads me to believe that he's not a lord himself, right? Because usually they have some tact about themselves, and that kind of like springboards into the wedding scene. We're calling it a wedding
Ooh.
scene, but it was really just a banquet, right? So he sees Sir Kristen and Rhaenyra staring at each other, and he figures out, he meaning Joffrey, figures out that the two of them, it must be the two of them. They're paramours, according to him, to use his language.
That's so good. It's good language. It's good language.
um, and so he tells this to Laenor, and Laenor is like, at one point, Laenor is like, keep your voice down. You know what I'm saying? Again, another indication that this boy he's not ready for this.
It's uncouth.
And so he takes it upon himself to go to Sir Kristen and basically say, hey, look, we're in the same situation. And even tells him that your boy is, no, you don't do that.
He did way. He was speaking out of turn, and I'm not a fan of that. Like you said, he lacks the tact, he lacks the maturity, because first of all, there's no real basis for this theory that you've come up with, right? Even if you really felt like that, and that could have been like a little running joke between you and Laenor, it should have stayed there rather than you approach him. First of all, you don't approach him like as he's going to the bathroom or nothing. No, they're in the middle of the wedding feast, and you walk over and have this conversation with this man about something that is grounds for all of y'all getting killed.
When anyone could overhear them. Anyone.
Absolutely. And we know at this point Sir Kristen is very tender, little cuckoo bird about to fall on his own sword.
Well, we
So
didn't know that at the time. We didn't know that at the time.
oh,
I
you know what?
definitely knew that he felt some kind of way. I didn't think in my why I didn't think that would happen. I didn't think that would happen.
Oh,
So
yes, you
anyway,
did.
that we're talking about is basically the next time. So this all happens right around the same time that Rhaenyra and Daemon are engaged in whatever intimacy that they were engaged in, and then all of a sudden we hear people screaming and moving and shouting, and we hear noises, and we're like, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And
The
then we
whole
see
scene is delicious. Like, oh, it's like, what's happening?
and then we see scenes of art, like cutaway images of Sir Kristen basically pummeling Joffrey, just pummeling him,
And
like
not in the way that you think, guys. This is not a I wanna be very clear. The pummeling is not the one that you think. All right, I just
no,
wanted to say that. I'm sorry,
no.
I had to say it. I know I'm probably wrong. Please don't delete this scene. Um, don't don't crop this out. Don't.
But why? Even though my mind wasn't there, I immediately knew what you were talking
You look. Okay, I'm sorry. You might not ever invite me back, guys, but listen. I thought it was worth mentioning. I'm doing this for you guys. I want you to know what's really happening. So this pummeling is not the one that we think it is, but please continue.
about. So basically, Sir Kristen kills his boy, like just beats him to death,
In
and
front of
seemingly
everyone.
so in front of everyone, seemingly with his bare hands. Please tell me it wasn't his bare hands.
I don't recall any weapons. You
My God.
know, yeah,
Woo.
in the middle of the wedding feast. So, in
Yeah.
true Game of Thrones fashion, you can't have a wedding without
Not one.
some
Not one wedding.
without somebody experiencing
But
a
wait,
fatality.
it was just supposed to be a banquet because of everything that happened. And I think because at that point, I think everyone kind of knew, ooh, this situation can become something else. Because Laenor, the way in which he yelled and cried out and tried, it was a little. He was showing too much emotion and not the type of emotion that he should have for this person, right? And too many questions would come about, like, why did Sir Kristen kill the protector of Rhaenyr's soon to be, like, it didn't make sense, right? And so I think that was what rushed the
Right.
wedding.
And right. And it wasn't like this, because obviously fights happen. It wasn't like they just got into this brawl just because you stepped on my iron boots or nothing like that. That's not what happened. Like, this is like literally a bloodbath.
My
Like,
5 layers of boots.
and 5 layers, yeah. Definitely. I'm like, dang.
My lifestyles, my Trojans, my
Oh, hey. It's like, I done told you. You can drive a cactus, I told you. But but yeah, I mean, the way it was just like, oh, this is personal, you
Mhm,
know, definitely very personal. So
mhm.
um, the wedding feast did not end so well, but it didn't end there. It didn't end there.
No, and you know what? And there is one scene that we skipped, even when we were talking about Daemon. So this applies for both Daemon and House Valyrian. So it Laena, Laenor's older sister, um, at some point showed attraction for Prince Daemon, and he saw that, and I guess he quickly, like in his brain, he was just like, "Ooh, this is perfect. This is the right house too. I already have relationship a relationship with this house, proven relationship in the past. This is, and she's old enough. Oh yeah, let me
And
pursue
there's
this.
some attraction both
Yes,
ways. She
yes,
ride a dragon. I can ride a
yeah,
dragon. She can ride a dragon.
yeah." Now, this is what I don't know where I got it from. I don't know where I got it from, but she did not get her dragon at the regular age that other um Valerians slash Targaryens receive a dragon. She got one when she was an adult. But her dragon is the eldest of all dragons alive at that particular point in time. And to me, that signifies something. To me, that means that this woman is wise, right?
And she got
We don't,
the biggest dragon.
what'd you say?
Then she has the biggest one, not just the eldest, but the biggest dragon.
The biggest. And another thing too, that also means that her dragon belonged to someone else. So there had to have been something about her that would have been able to tame this dragon who was used to someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like a will inside of her that goes beyond the normal. You know what I'm saying? At,
Right.
at least that's how I
I'm.
thought of it.
I definitely need to read the book or the
Yeah,
books.
no, it's just I overthink. I overthink. Don't worry about me. I overthink.
We share that. You're
So
crazy.
anyway, after the fight scene, obviously they decide that Laenor and Rhaenyra should get married, and they indeed do get married.
With the blood of Lenor's beloved still on the floor.
Hmm.
They wed. I'm like, that's for me. That blew my mind. Like, okay, wait a minute. Are they're exchanging vows right now? The blood is still on the floor. He's still bloody. Like, and I'm getting married, and the person that I'm in love with is gone.
Hmm.
Remnants of him still on my clothing at this point.
Hmm.
So I thought that was just absolutely heartbreaking. Like, oh,
The trauma, like just from his perspective, the amount of trauma that he's in this moment, and he's still expected to perform this duty. And you know that at this point, you've got to assume that everyone there knows. You've got to assume that everyone there knows, right? Which is why, like, they rushed it. Both of them are coming to this union in a delicate situation. Both of their houses are at risk should they not wed.
and there we have it. Like, that was episode 5. We light the way. And I'm like, okay, this seems like extreme darkness. But the episode is We Light the Way. Like, what is up? Like, oh my goodness. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Hmm.
And here we are, taking having these nuptials. And like you said, we're still expected to perform. If I get a hangnail, I gotta clock out of work immediately. I gotta go. I gotta go. But you have, Rhaenyra, the person that I lost my virginity to,
Hmm.
has completely lost his mind. Not even
Hmm.
entirely sure if he ever had it. And
Hmm.
my beloved is gone. Like, so yeah, but we still gotta perform, and here we go. You know,
Hmm.
and that's it. And scene. Like, it's over.
Yeah, yeah. And even from her perspective, she had to have known that her relationship with Sir Kristen had to have like died, like if not that day in that moment, but like on the boat ride back, it had to have died. You know what I'm saying? Like some point in between. So she's dealing with her own issues. You know,
Absolutely. Like,
tragic.
where was all that passion in the bedroom that you put into a fight? Like, you are crazy. Like, I really want to know more about Sir Kristen, kind of, because, that kind of reaction. Now, granted,
over the
Jeffrey
top.
was out of line, right? But the reaction did not fit the situation.
No,
It was
it
just
didn't.
like,
It
okay.
didn't. It didn't.
So
It really
I'm
didn't.
curious.
I don't know. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Even I will say this: like he doesn't. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Never mind. Haha. Let me stay there.
And so does the House of Dragon. They jump ahead too. But you'll see about that on the next
Next
episode.
episode. And with that, thank you all so very much for listening to us rant and rave and laugh.
Yes. Talk about
Wait a minute,
our favorite
rant,
word,
rave,
passion.
and what's a word that starts with R that basically means laugh? You're the wordsmith.
Um, oh my goodness. Until you put me on the spot.
Well, anyway, until we get that together, we'll see you all next time. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye, guys.